welcome to this special edition of Get Involved Pittsburgh. We're very proud to be here with Matt Aaron, who is the President and CEO of Special Olympics of Pennsylvania. Matt, thanks for coming to Pittsburgh and visiting us.
Thanks, Tom. Great to be here with you today.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you on the show, talk a little bit about Special Olympics of Pennsylvania. If you could maybe just give us a framework of how big the organization is, how many clubs, how many groups there are throughout the state. How big is Special Olympics in Pennsylvania?
Sure. Special Olympics now has 55 local programs all over the state, mostly organized by counties, and we serve approximately 20,000 athletes.
20,000, that's great. Wow. And now your office is out of Philadelphia, I believe, right?
Our main state office is in Philadelphia,
okay.
But we have local programs really in all corners of the state.
That's great. And we're glad to have a great one here in Allegheny County, and I got to join you all at the Winter Games in Johnstown earlier this year. It was just an amazing event to be part of. Congratulations on all the great work that you're doing. If you could tell us just a little bit about the athletes, who does get involved in Special Olympics? Who are the athletes?
Well, our athletes, there is no typical description of an athlete, other than to participate in Special Olympics you have to have an intellectual disability. Our athletes range in age from as young as 8 years old up to more than 90. There's no upper age limit.
Wow.
And so we offer more than 20 sports here in Pennsylvania, and we have athletes all over the age spectrum, all over the ability spectrum.
And what are some of the sports that the athletes participate in?
A couple of our more popular sports are athletics, which is track and field,
okay.
Basketball, aquatics, soccer, right. You name it. And then as our athletes age, we find them enjoying what we call life sports like bowling and bocce. Bocce is becoming very popular now with our athletes.
That's great. That's great. And I remember being at the Winter Games and thinking to the fact that I couldn't even do half the sports that the athletes were doing. I had to get skating going on and skiing, and I just remember thinking to myself, those aren't things that I play. So it sounds like you have a great set of athletes. Now, every athlete has to have a coach. So who are the people that are the coaches to the athletes?
Our coaches are all volunteers, which is one of the most wonderful things about Special Olympics. We are a volunteer-driven organization, and so our coaches come from all walks of life. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be a professional athlete or a professional sports person. Anyone can become a coach, but we provide training to ensure that our coaches are equipped to best prepare our athletes. All of our athletes have to train for a minimum of 8 weeks before they can compete. Okay. And then they have an opportunity to compete at their local level, and then they can advance to our regional, which we call sectional competitions, our state events, and then from there we even send athletes to national and world competitions.
That's great. Now the Special Olympics, they're not every 4 years, I'm guessing. How often are competitions actually taking place in our Commonwealth?
Well, look at your watch, and we probably have something going on
today. That's good.
We have more than 260 competitions a year around the state.
That's great. And now for people watching at home or on the internet, how can they get involved with Special Olympics? How can either athletes get involved or people that want to be coaches?
It's very easy. I'm glad you asked that question because there are lots and lots of ways to get involved. And so depending on the person's time availability or how they want to be involved, there's lots of different things people can do. You can volunteer for an event. You can become a coach. You can help with some of our activities. And of course, we're always looking for supporters, donors, corporate supporters. But any person that's interested in helping can find out more information by going to our website, which is www.specialolympicspa.org. Okay. And right there on our homepage, they can click on volunteer links or support links, depending on what they're interested in, and they'll get more information there about exactly how they can get involved in their local community or at our state events.
Right. I was just on your website earlier today, specialolympicspa.org, and it's very user-friendly, a lot of great information on there of ways you can get involved in many ways as a donor as well. How can it, if people are interested, maybe they don't have the time or perceive that they have the time to become a coach or a volunteer, can they make a donation to the organization?
Absolutely. And we've made that as simple and straightforward as possible. Right in the upper right-hand corner of our homepage, there's a donate button. If you click on that, it takes you to a web page where you can easily submit your information and make a donation right there. And there's much more detailed information if corporations are interested in getting involved. So really any way that a person would want to get involved in terms of making a donation or becoming a volunteer, we can give them more information. We've put a lot of time over the last year into redesigning our website, and we're very proud that we believe we've done something that makes it easier for folks to find what they need and navigate the site.
That's great. One thing that I noticed when I first met you back earlier this year was that you had the R Word Pledge going on. Can you tell us a little bit about the R Word Pledge, where it came from, and kind of how it turned out?
Sure. Like almost all good things that arise in our world, the R Word campaign started from some of our athletes, and the brother of one of our athletes who had grown up with his younger sister being harassed and bullied and made fun of in school. And of course, the R word is retarded. And his sister had been called many, many names in school. He was a high school senior and decided that for his project he was going to do something about it. And from that one school project has grown what has now become a grassroots movement throughout Special Olympics. And really, we've pulled in other nonprofits now in attempts to get people to just simply stop using that word. So we try not to focus on the negatives, but more on the positives of let's get rid of the old R word and replace it with the word respect, and look at how we can all work together.
And it's amazing that comes. That's not something that you as the CEO or your colleagues came up with. That's student driven. That's amazing, and that's what we're all about too. Is students just becoming empowered, making a difference, realizing that if they get people behind them, they can really start a movement. So that's a great example of that.
This one is definitely youth driven and athlete driven.
Right. That's excellent. Now let's talk a little bit about the plunge. I've been telling my friends December 4th I will be plunging into the river in Pittsburgh. What is the Pittsburgh Polar Plunge all about? I know you've had one in Philadelphia as well. What is that event?
We actually have 4 plunges now around the state. Our newest one is going to be on December the 4th, as you mentioned, here at Heinz Field. And the Polar Plunge is an opportunity for people to come out, jump in the cold water, but more importantly to rally around a cause which is Special Olympics. So all of the funds that will be raised that day go to support our athletes around the state. We're asking folks to raise a minimum of $50, and we're going to make it easy for them by allowing them to create their own websites to help raise money from their friends, family, colleagues, and we're helping people make plunge teams, and it really becomes a fun event. A lot of people come out and really turn it into a fun celebration.
Okay, well, if anyone watching wants to join my team, I would be glad to have you on our team. That's excellent, Matt. So thank you for all the great work that you're doing with the Special Olympics of Pennsylvania. Matt Aaron, the President and CEO of Special Olympics. You can check them out at specialolympicspa.org. We hope you enjoy the rest of your visit to Pittsburgh, and thanks a lot for being on the show.
Sure. Thanks, Tom. Or if listeners don't want to use the web, which is probably none of your viewers,
right.
But if folks want to just call our toll-free number, that's 800-235-9058, and we'd be happy to point them in the right direction.
Great. All right. Well, Special Olympics is an amazing organization, something that I was involved with even back in elementary school, and I'm so honored to be working with Matt and his colleagues. They have a great organization. Again, you can check them out at specialolympicspa.org. We hope to see you here in Pittsburgh, December 4th. We're jumping into the river near Heinz Field, so make sure to get involved with that event. But thanks for checking us out on this special edition of Get Involved Pittsburgh, and we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot.